Hello and welcome to episode 41 of the GCN Weekly Cycling News Show. This week we've got news from Lombardia, we look ahead to the Tour of Beijing, and we're also going to talk about the transfer market in cycling. Lombardia, formerly the Tour of Lombardy, represents the final one-day World Tour race of the year. With this year's World Championships also being heavily suited to climbers, many of them came to the race in top form and full of motivation. Newly crowned world champion Rui Costa of Movistar made his first appearance in the Rainbow Bands, but he rode in support of his teammates Alejandro Valverde and Nairo Quintana. It's been a season of pretty awful weather conditions for all the major Italian races this year, and the Tour of Lombardy was no exception. 242 kilometres on hilly terrain and with heavy rain was going to produce a worthy winner. The race was animated by a strong lone attack from Thomas Voeckler. He went between the ascents of the Sormano and the Ghisallo and was only brought back after a really concerted effort from Katusha and Saxo Bank. After Voeckler was brought back, it was no surprise to see Joaquim Rodriguez on the attack on the final ascent with 10 kilometres to go. In a carbon copy of his move from last year, Rodriguez went on the final climb and flew down the descent into Lecco, holding off arch-rival Alejandro Valverde and Poland's Rafał Majka. Rafał Majka of saxo-tinkoff deserves special mention for his third-place finish. It was his first podium in a monument, and after placing highly in this year's Giro, he's sure to be one that we're going to be seeing plenty of in years to come. Following victory at Lombardia, Rodriguez has taken his second consecutive overall victory in the World Tour. He's taken it by default, as himself, Froome and Valverde have all gone on holiday and ended their season. Despite the overall being settled, there's still one event to go in the UCI's World Tour, the Tour of Beijing. GCN are going to be there, visas pending, and we'd really like to know what you'd like to see from us out there, so comment below and let us know. The Euro-Metropole Tour, which was previously known as the Circuit franco-belge, saw Jens Debusschere of Lotto Belisol emerge as one to watch. Debusschere, aged 24, took the first stage and then held on to his overall lead through a series of difficult finish circuits and sprint finishes to take the overall victory. Tyler Farrar of garmin-sharp took his first European win in over 2 years at the Euro-Metropole Tour. He outsprinted Reinhard Janse van Rensburg, who you may remember from this year's GCN Vuelta Rider Diaries. Farrar's win comes as something as a relief to the American, who was rumoured to be really struggling to get hold of a contract for next year. Soon after his victory, he was able to confirm that he signed a one-year deal with garmin-sharp for 2014. Many others have not been so lucky. There's been no official announcement on where Chris Horner's headed, and it's rumoured that he's yet to sign on the dotted line due to excessive wage demands, or rather large wage demands fitting for a Grand Tour winner, whichever way you want to look at it. The difficult transfer market has forced many riders to take big pay cuts. Thomas de Gent, who was third in last year's Giro d'Italia, has been forced to take an 80% pay cut when he moved to a Mega Pharma Quickstep. Despite the pay cuts, we've heard that de Gent is going to be quids in if he takes any big wins next year. Alongside the transfers and pay cuts, we've also seen a slew of retirements this year. Christian van der Velde and Dave Zabriskie have both called it quits, and Juan Antonio Flecha rode his final European Classic on Sunday at Lombardia. Flecha has swapped his bike for a surfboard and has booked a one-way ticket to Maui. The 2014 Giro route has been presented in Milan. Next year, the Giro starts in Belfast before heading down to Dublin, when the riders take a rest day and the race moves back to Italy. The route is designed to commemorate Marco Pantani's life 10 years on from his death, and features finishes at some of the sites of his greatest victories, including the Santria Europa. The race closes with the penultimate stage to Monte Zoncolan, which some riders reckon rivals the Angliru in terms of difficulty. This is what the riders had to say about what appears to be a balanced route.
Cadel, I've said this to you before, but the Giro d'Italia always seems to be a race very close to your heart. We understand you're focusing a lot of your efforts on this race next year.
Yeah, certainly from my start in Grand Tours, it was my first Grand Tour that I ever participated in 2002, and actually being quite close to victory there is something that I'd still like to, some unfinished business to attend to from 2002, but also next year, a bit of a change in my program, probably Giro and not a Tour de France means I have a lot of energy and time to prepare for it well.
It's not so fantastic here for me, very difficult, but I think the most important is not the age, but it's the motivation. What do you want to do? I really want to try to get the third Giro in my career. Of course it's difficult, but you never know.
Moving on to Tech of the Week, and we've got something from last week's World Championships in Florence. Katusha teammates Luca Paolini and Joaquim Rodriguez both had custom-painted helmets from Italian designer Barza Design. Purito's helmet featured a Purito, which of course in Spanish means a small cigar. Before we close with Tweet of the Week, we've got very sad news from Belgium. American cyclocross racer Amy Dombrowski has died following a training incident. Dombrowski had placed highly in many top-level cross events and was hugely popular with fans and fellow racers alike. GCN would like to extend our condolences to all of Amy's family, friends and teammates at this very sad time. Finally, for Tweet of the Week, we'll go to Chris Horner's impromptu Twitter autobiography, which has spawned the hashtag #IDidThat. Horner's given a rundown of his early career, and this is one of the highlights. Race pro for years without pay, just hoping to make enough winnings to pay rent. I did that.
In this video we're going to show you how to change the chain rings. For the majority of chain sets, all you need for the job